Let's take a look at new arrivals at Lowe's for November. You're going to see evergreens, you're going to see cool weather flowers, shrubs, lots of decorations for Christmas, and so much more. So come along and let's see what they have. My name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. So let's start off outside for the cool weather flowers, and over here we are seeing that they have some pansies and some creeping jenny. And this is such a beautiful arrangement. It's a pretty large container. This is going to hold them really well right through to the winter into spring. And I'm in growing zones 8, and they're going to hold up really well even in a hard freeze. These are some pansies right here in a smaller container, and I just love that color. I think it looks so seasonal. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see how much those were going for. And if you wanted like the flat three, you're putting a lot of them and you wanted those jewel tones, these would be perfect for you, or even some other red ones here as well. $13.98 is what those were going for. Over here we also have some snapdragons, and these are also able to withstand the cold weather. And you can see they also have some Dusty Miller right here, and they combine so well together. These are some ornamental kale. They have the purple one and they have the white one, and they're a pretty good size. You can see they're pretty much, established. So they'll be able to do really well. And you can always plant these guys as long as you don't have a hard freeze out there and the ground is workable. You are good to go to put them down. And we'll talk about ways to protect them if it gets extreme a little further down in the video. They also had cyclamen as well, and these are so beautiful. These red ones are perfect for the holiday season, for Christmas, and you can use these inside or outside. What I'll say though is if you're keeping them inside, you'll want to be sure that they're not under the heating vents because they don't like to dry out like that, and they do like to stay cool. And this is just such a wonderful combination, I think, the red and the white. And you can see they have different sizes depending on what your need. So some people, they'll grow them outside if the weather is mild enough for them in the winter, and some will just have them inside. But either way, you can get to enjoy them. Now, if you get a hard freeze coming or you're concerned about, your plants being outdoors, this is perfect. You can just go ahead and cover it over with them until things warm up, and then you can take them back off maybe in another few days or so. And they still had some chrysanthemums. So let's say you are someone that decorates your home after Thanksgiving, you can always pop these in here and there for the rest of the fall season and into Thanksgiving, and those colors are just absolutely wonderful. I love them, and with the right care, these chrysanthemums, they can come back year after year because I've done it so many times, and it's just enjoyable. If you cut them back early enough, they'll fluff out just like this right here. Moving on to the shrubs, and these would be hollies right here. And these ones, you can see they actually have berries on there, so they're showing you what it's going to look like even at a smaller size. And they grow anywhere from up to 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So just to give you an idea of what to expect in terms of how you're going to space out your plants. And they give you lots of information on how to care for them, what their cold hardiness is, when to fertilize them. All that information is on there. And this is not a sponsored video, guys. I'm just showing you what they have available at a garden center that's close to me to give you great ideas. So over here now they have some more holly, but these ones have a smaller leaf, and you can see that they're perfectly shaped for the holiday season. And you can put these on your porch or your patio if you like until you're ready to go ahead and put them in the ground maybe in the early spring. These are some boxwoods right here. You can see how tall they grow. And these are perfect little, like outlines for your garden if you wanted something like that. This is really good for that. And I've had boxwoods for years, and they last, decades sometimes. These are some azaleas over here. And this is an encore variety, meaning that they're blooming for you in the autumn, and they're also going to bloom for you again in the spring. And this is a plant that I love so much. I'm in the southeastern United States in growing zone 8, and we get lots of these, and they're gorgeous. This is another favorite of mine right here, guys. Camellia. This one is a white one right here, and it's just such a wonderful plant. I've had this red one for maybe over 10 years now, and I absolutely love it. It's so gorgeous. This was a very foggy day, so it's not as clear, but it's a wonderful plant. What I will say though is try not to put them out in the middle of your garden because they do need a little bit of sheltering, whether it's by a fence, in a corner of your garden, next to a larger tree or something like that. They like part sun, not to be out in the blast, but they're perfectly fine for the winter. They'll give you lots of flowers over that season when a lot of other plants are not flowering for you. So it's a perfect solution to add some beautiful interest to your winter garden. Over here now they had Leland cypress. Very, very Christmassy. I just love the way the leaves look. I think they're so gorgeous. I love that shade of green. But guys, these are huge. They get to 50 feet high and up to 15 feet across. So you really will have to be careful in choosing these. Think about how much space you're working with and how big they're going to get, so you make the right choices for your garden. If you need something for a smaller size as an evergreen, then these are perfect. These are dwarf Alberta spruce, and they only grow to 3 feet high by 4 feet wide. And you can see that they have them shaped very nicely here, and that Christmas shape that we all love so much. And you can keep them right there until you're ready to plant them in the spring, when the weather warms up again and they thaw out, the soil thaws out. And over here they have some juniper. These are nice little edgers. What I'll say about these though is that, because I've had them before, if you're not going to have them just free flow in terms of how they grow, their growing habit, and you try to cut them, it tends to look brown and then it's not very attractive. So if you're going to have them free form like this, then they are perfect, and then they're not very tall, and they're nice for retaining the soil as well, in terms of not having erosion. So if you have an area that has a slope, this is a good one if you're not going to trim it back. And you can see they tell you how to care for it, the zones it grows in and all of that, which is a wide range, by the way. Over here now we have eucalyptus, and I wish I had enough space to get one of these, but I have so many plants already I could not fit any one of these, but I love the way they smell. I love decorations with them, right throughout the year, whether it be Christmas or, any other season. My sister has a really nice eucalyptus wreath that she uses sometimes, and it's so inspiring. But these guys, they grow very tall, up to 40 feet, so you really have to have the space for them. Over here, if you're more into kind of like a more, whimsical type of a garden, these are some little reindeer. If you have like little kids, they will love this. I think they are so cute. You can tell me what you think in the comments. The larger ones are for $34.98 and the smaller ones are for $24.98. Very, very cute, I think. And over here, they had some bird houses right up my street because, I love to have birds in my garden. If you've been watching my channel for a while, I think they're really pretty. And you can just, hang them, on the trees, by the fence, on hooks, and they'll just add that wonderful interest. And they had these little snowmen right here. And this is just, reusing lumber, reusing trees, I should say, as a good way to repurpose them in your garden. So I like that. And over here they have these large pine cones. You can use these for decorations, and for dual purpose, you can roll them in like peanut butter and then roll them in like bird seeds, and the birds are gonna love it, and you'll see them coming to your garden. So that's a good way to use it. Now we're gonna head on inside, guys. The decorations are coming up. So these are some wonderful amaryllis bulbs right here, and this is such a beautiful mainstay indoors. If you like fresh flowers like we do, this is a good way to have flowers indoors that are very, very seasonal, and they give you all the tips in the boxes that are there as to how to care for them. And these, by the way, are perennial because they will come back with the right care year after year, and they get larger and larger. And in some areas they're able to have them even in the cooler weather survive outside, but you have to do your research to see how you would do that. And they had some paper whites right there, so it's a nice little match there. And if you are someone who likes to see what you're getting on the inside, these little ones right here, you can see that they're growing, so you already know what you're getting and that they already started off. So these are wonderful ideas for little pops of fresh flowers around your home for the holidays. If you like a lot of sparkle and glitter, then this option might be for you for the amaryllis bulbs. You can see they're already on their way, so you know that they're good to go, and you should have lots of success with these. Moving on to the trees, guys. So many, and one of the main stays in our Christmas decorations. When you put those up, you can see, the heights that they are. That's 7.5 feet, and how much they're going for. I'll have you just take a look at them as we go along. You can see they have different shapes, like this one right here, and sizes. This one is for $119. And as small as it is, I actually like how the leaves are shaped because I think it looks very, very, it looks more realistic, like a real tree to me. But of course, they're all beautiful in their own way. You just have many different types of evergreen trees, that we use for Christmas. This one over here, it has a flocked look for $298. And just to show you, how large they are, and you can see that they have different lights, and you can control these where you choose whatever type of light pattern you want, whether you want multicolor or you want white lights. I myself, I prefer to have white lights on my tree, but everybody has their own preference. But there is something for everyone. You have the slimmer trees if you don't have a lot of space to put it. And I'd always say, guys, when you're getting your trees, make sure you have at least, I'd say at least 1.5 to 2 feet above the tree as far as where your seating goes, so you have enough space to put your star. And it doesn't look, like it's just tucked in there somewhere. But there are so many different ones to choose from, and, Just pick what works best for you and what coordinates in what you're trying to do in your home. You can see that one's a 9-foot tree, which we could get one of those, but I think that's a little bit large for me in terms of having to get to the top and all of that. So it just depends on what you prefer. And of course, for every tree, you need to have either a skirt or a collar. And I've noticed that in recent years, the colors are becoming more popular. That's a peppermint one right there. This one is actually looking like a burlap right there, which is very nice. And if you use light neutral tones, it works really well to like your golds and your whites and so on. This one is a metal, and you can see it has like little patterns. It's not showing behind the wrapper on there, but there are little patterns on there to give it that nice, kind of organic feel to it. And I also love this one here too. This one is so versatile. It has a kind of like a wicker style. And of course, with every tree, you'll want to have a star. And you can see they have different types. I love that gold one right there. So beautiful. It reminds me of some that I've had in the past. Over here, this is a that looks like the silver version to it. And I love this one right here. It's so beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see the prices, how much they're going for right there. This one has a more of a glam look if you're going for that. And that one is a similar situation. So there is a star here for everyone, for whatever style you have. And you can see the prices vary a little bit too, depending on how much you're wanting to spend. Over here, now they had some ornaments, and these are some larger ones. I held it just to show you how big they are relative to my hand. You can see how many they have in there, how much they're going for. If you want to have a little bit more and spend a little bit less, then these larger ones are a good option. And now it's time for the wreaths, guys. Isn't this gorgeous? I just absolutely love it. And these bells right here are going for $12.98. It's 4 of them on each of them. And these have become so much more popular in more recent years. And just to show you by way of size, you can see how large they are. In my hand, you can see how it is right there. So I think those go really well with them. Like this one here, now I think this doesn't need anything else. It's just all berries. And there are lots of berry tree themes around this year. So that one would be perfect without anything else. This is a flocked one. So if you have a flocked tree, you typically want to, marry them in the sense where one matches the other. If you're more for the ornament style, they have these ones here. They also have the blue and white pattern right there, and the gold with the silver, like a mixed metal kind of look right there. You can see how much you're going for. This one is gold with the green, and this one has some berries on there. So it just depends on what you're trying to get done. I think this one maybe could have had a little bit more stuff on there, but it works too. Maybe like with a nice red bow, it would look just fine. And over here we have one. This has a more of like a, what is that? I'm not sure if this would be like a Ralph Lauren style. You can let me know because I know that's very popular this year. But typically it's more of like a blue-green type of tartan plaid, but I'm not sure if this would qualify as that. But either way, I think it looks good, as does this one right here. The berries are, they almost look like when you sugarcoat fruits, the berries that are on there. And this one has, the bow and ornaments and all of that on there. And this one is actually my favorite, to be honest, because it reminds me of the garden, and just a nice velvet bow on here, red, and some gold bells hanging on, I think would just really knock it out the park. It's gorgeous. And I just wanted to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you have never done so before. We absolutely love to decorate our home with beautiful flowers and fixtures for Christmas. So if you like that, be sure to follow us because we have a lot of stuff coming up for you. And I'll also attach my Christmas series, the playlist at the end of this video, so you can go ahead and check that out to see what we've done in the past years, and hope it inspires you. Over here now we have some garlands all dressed up and ready for you. You just basically hang them, whether it's on your mantle, or it could be, alongside a door, above a door, whatever you want to use it for. The lighting's a little bit off, so it's not even showing you how really gorgeous they were, but I hope this still gives you a good idea of what they look like and the prices, to suit your needs. And over here now they had some doormats, different patterns on there. This one says Merry Christmas, which would be ideal for me. And these are choir mats. You can wipe your feet on them, and I like to layer my mats. In recent years, I've started layering my mats, and I think it really just adds that extra elegance and extra lift to what you're doing. Over here now, this is a wreath, which is an electric one. It's very, very large. It doesn't show that much when you're looking at it from here, but this is actually 36 inches across. My husband is trying to hold it to give you an idea there of the scale, but still doesn't, show as much, but it's really large. Over here now we have our angel for $109. And of course, we have the stars of the show right here. We have Mary, Joseph and the baby Jesus, and that's going for $119. And I was quite happy to see this. Of course, these are outdoor decorations, lighted and everything. So it's a good way to, add the nativity into your decor. And over here they had this flag. This is another easy way to do it. You just get a flag with that on there, and that works really well. And over here my husband is holding it up to show you this one that says peace on earth, and I love it. Over here these ones are, the lighted sculptures again, $229. You see that they have gifts there. They have the Christmas tree, and just to show you the size relative to my hand, over here they have a little that's like a gingerbread truck for $54. If you're more into kind of like a winter style theme, they have these, polar bears right here, $139. And then over here they have the candy cane lane or candy cane pathway. And it's actually, like I said, it's an orchestra. And there are different things that it does in terms of what you hear, the music, how the lights come on, and all of that. So it's a package deal right here for $139. And they show you a little bit of what to expect, how it changes out for you. You can always, take a look at it and see if it works for you. And over here, they had these 100 count pepper lights. I'm sorry, I didn't get to see the price on those. These are twinkle lights right here. These work really well if you want to wire them into a garland or, a wreath that isn't lighted. And they're battery operated. Over here, they have some 8-count snowflakes, that are icicle lights. So these are different than the standard icicles. And they're very, very nice because I've seen these on homes in previous years and they're really gorgeous. These are some lampposts, they light up along the walkway. I couldn't see how tall they were, but I think they're a reasonable size. And over here now they had the electrical wires, electrical plugs. And it's always good to stay safe. And you also have the one you can stake in the ground. My husband is pretty good at setting these up outside with the boys, for Christmas, making sure that everything is safe. So if it rains, you don't have to worry about them. And they have timers on them. And I did want to show you this. I mentioned the mister earlier, but this is actually going to help you for plants that can't take the dry heat inside when the heaters come on, like your orchids. So you can maybe, get this for yourself or as a little gift for someone. And there's a plant food for the orchid as well. That's going to help them out. So over here now they had some poinsettias, and these are gorgeous, $7.98. And this is a pretty good size. But what I'll say, because this is still early November, depending on when you're watching this, I think it's better to maybe have the poinsettias a little bit further down towards the end of the month. Over here we have some tree skirts. So it's good to get them down, put them down, because sometimes some of these things, they're not in, lots of supply. But I certainly hope that, you enjoyed coming along with me. It was just a wonderful time. And I so look forward to celebrating Christmas. It's a wonderful time for me and my family. We get to celebrate the birth of Christ and just to share our, ideas with you and to be inspired by the comments that you leave and your suggestions as well. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I do look forward to seeing you in the next video, and enjoy the season. Take care.